Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to today's episode of Sadie and Friends. Just reminding you to go ahead and check out the folks at Garage Door Service and Sales. You know, recently the keypad on our garage door broke. You really don't know how much that disrupts your everyday life until it happens. And that's why I'm so glad to know the folks at Garage Door Service and Sales, because Patrice, her and her family, they have owned this business for decades. So many decades, in fact, I wasn't even alive. And I've been alive for like a really long time. They were chugging away for 2 decades before I showed up. And I'm so glad that I now have people to call, whether it's something small like the keypad on the garage door, it's just being funky, or maybe it's something big like, hey, we want to completely change the look of our home, so we want a new garage door. That's what they do at Garage Door Service and Sales. So give them a call today, or better yet, go online to see what they have to offer. GarageDoorServiceandSales.com. Garage Door Service and Sales, a proud sponsor of the Sadie and Friends podcast.
I'm going to say the thing you're not supposed to say.
Let's talk about marriage.
They have like a 2-second rebound rate and you're back doing the next pain in the ass thing.
Parenting. Oh my gosh.
They have sucked the pretty right out of me. They treat me like it, and I do their laundry. Lucky me.
Sex.
I'm caught between two evils. I generally like to take the one I never tried.
Scary stuff like ghosts. I know it's totally out of left field, but just go with me on this.
Boo, you whore.
Love.
And give you what you need. That's all. I'm talking about taking care of each other the best you can. What's wrong with taking care of a woman? She takes care of you.
Friendships.
Wink and her necklace says best friends forever.
Actually, you want it to say forever? I don't think you guys will be best friends forever. No offense, but sometimes you grow apart, and maybe she'll find a new best friend. They end up doing everything together.
So I woke up at 4:30 this morning.
We're starting. Let's go.
I don't really do an intro anymore because I feel like the intro is already there.
Sure.
And so then when I do it and then I'm like, it's me again saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So I just don't do it anymore. But I just like to jump right into it.
Right in.
I worry because I can't be old enough to be premenopausal or menopausal. I think this is a hormone thing. I woke up at like 4 o'clock. Well, it was 4 o'clock this morning, just drenched in sweat. And I was so cold and I was shaking. And I literally got up and took a shower because I was so gross and sticky and sweaty. It was literally like I had sat in a sauna for a half an hour, just dripping in sweat.
Did you feel like, did you have a fever? Did you feel nauseous, lethargic?
No, night sweats are a thing.
Okay.
There's actually a band with the name Night Sweats.
Okay.
Isn't there?
I don't know. I'm sure there is.
I think there is. It's something in the Night Sweats. I don't know.
Nathaniel Ratliff
and the Night Sweat?
There
okay.
You go. Sure.
So it is a real thing.
Yeah.
But I wake up and and this is the second night in a row it's happened. It has to be a hormone thing, right? I can't be old enough to be going through this.
I'm glad you're talking to me, the expert on on all feminine health issues, but I have no idea.
Well, what's so funny is I came downstairs this morning and I'm like, did you know I got up at the middle of the night and took a shower? I had night sweats and I don't know. I mean, do you think that I'm going through menopause or something weird like that? And he goes, oh, yeah, yeah,
sure.
Anyway, and I was like, damn it. I need to call like a girlfriend and be like, what is the deal with this? Because I cannot I can't.
Yeah, don't talk to your husband about that. He has no idea. Not that he doesn't care, but he has no idea.
Yeah, it's literally the worst. So I don't know. I got to get that figured out. But on to the next thing. I'm so proud of you.
Uh-oh.
No. Why would you say uh-oh to that?
Because that means I did something wrong.
No, I didn't. No.
Okay.
You went to see a movie that was a little bit out of the box for you. Not something you would normally be drawn to.
A thriller or scary movie.
It's a scary movie.
Yeah, but so I think we've talked about this already.
Did we really?
No. Just my aversion to scary movies. Scary movies are typically awful movies. They're just bad movies. You go for the thrill, the jump, the whatever 3-4 times. Sinners, which we went and saw over the weekend, is a good movie that happens to be a thriller.
It is such a good movie. I highly recommend it to people. But it's not, you would have to agree it's not a movie for everybody, even though it's a great movie, even though it has like a really good story.
I heard, to sum it up, I heard someone put, I think it was like Shane Gillis, like a comedian, said it's a combination. He was talking about how good the movie is, but he put a combination of the movies together and it made a lot of sense. See what you think. It's a combination of From Dusk Till Dawn and Django.
Yes. Ooh, that's a good
Isn't
one.
that good?
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
And so it's this really great movie. I highly recommend it to everybody. They also say that it's, I mean, and I've heard this said before by movies, but they say it should win a ton of awards.
I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
I mean, those kind of movies aren't going to be like best picture movies.
I think you might be wrong on that.
Okay.
We're going to.
It was good. I really enjoyed it. Like, I'd go see it again. And you've actually seen it again. Can I tell the story? Can I tell it?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to go see Sinners, us and another couple friend. And we are like, well, yeah, let's go see it. And I'm sitting next to Sadie during the movie. And there are some jump out parts, right? There are some like supposed to be scary, or there's something going on, but you don't know quite what it is. And I know you and your reactions, right? I know pretty much how you act to things when you're excited, when you're anticipating something. And I look over at you and I'm like, you're not really moving a lot. You're just kind of ho-humming this one. And we're halfway through the movie when things are going on, and it's a good movie. And I whisper, are you bored? What's going on? Are you bored? And you're like, no, I'm not. I'm like, okay.
I'm not bored at all.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's odd. And we're watching it and we're talking about it after the next day. I'm like, that was a good movie. I really enjoyed that. And you just start laughing. And I'm like, what are you laughing about? And you're like, it's even better the second time around. And I'm like, what? So at some point during the day, you had a little bit of time. Everyone was at school. You got your things done.
Oh, this is so pathetic.
And you went out to a matinee by yourself to watch this movie without telling anybody.
I didn't tell anybody. I thought this is really lame and I'm not going to tell anybody I'm doing this. And I think I told you I'm going to go out and run some errands. And
you're
like,
yeah, sure.
yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
And I left, and thank God we're not like we're not like a check in on where each other is at. You know,
sure.
It's just kind of like, yeah, go do your thing and then come back. But I went. And there was nobody there, which is very cool.
Hold on. So you went to see this Thriller. Okay, what was this? It was like a Tuesday, Wednesday.
Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. What time was the movie?
11.
11
I really
a.m.
was running errands because I had to return an Amazon thing that didn't work. And I'm in the Kohl's parking lot where I made the return. And I'm like, it's like 10:55. And I thought, I really want to go see this movie. Do I look and this is dumb? And so I looked, and the movie started at 11, and I'm like, out of the parking lot. And I even pulled up to the movie, and I was like, this is really weird, but I'm going to go for it. So I went in, there was nobody there. I mean, literally.
Were you the only one in the theater?
I was the only one. There was a woman in front of me buying like popcorn and stuff.
No. But in the particular movie theater.
Yes.
It was just you.
It was literally just me, and I loved it. And what's so funny is if you go and see this movie, do not leave when the credits roll.
Oh, yeah.
Because there is a very big part of the movie that happens.
It's just entertaining.
Well, it's pretty major.
Yeah, okay.
It's pretty major.
Sure, yeah.
And so I knew that. And so when we all went,
the credits
were rolling, and everyone, they were getting their stuff together. And I'm like, let's just see what happens. Maybe there's something else that happens. And everyone's like, what? Okay.
Right.
And there was. And I was like, what? I was right, guys. I had already seen it. But you know what? I think that there is something really great about doing stuff like that alone. And there are movies where this was a vampire movie.
Yeah.
And I thought, Ryan doesn't like scary movies.
No. I don't like bad movies. I'm fine with scary movies.
Listen, most scary movies are bad.
Yes.
And so I just really didn't think you'd be interested in this. And I thought, I'm not going to go on a weekend, which we ended up doing that weekend. I saw it twice in 1 week. and it was full.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I'm going to go during the day and I'm going to sit. And so I went, I got a drink, and I went and not an alcoholic drink, but I got obviously
a slushy. You can say it.
Well, a slushy.
Yeah.
I only get those when I go to the movies, or a gas station. Or what?
Or urban air.
Yeah. You know what? God dang it. I love slushies.
You do.
So anyway, I go and I get my drink and I watch the movie, and the whole time I wasn't, like, oh my God, these people are talking, or why would these people sit right next to us when there's an entire theater? I mean, I feel like the older I get, the more I get annoyed by things like that. And I shouldn't, because that's so bitchy, but I'm kind of just like, damn it.
Do you think that they would run the movie if no one was there? Do they do that?
I don't know. That's a good question.
If you didn't buy the ticket, would that movie have ran?
My God, I hope somebody wasn't like, okay, we'll let you go if nobody goes. And then I walked in and the only person, and they're like, now you got to stay and clean up after. But I'm very clean. I always throw my stuff away.
Yeah, but would the projector run if no one was there?
That is such a good question. I'm literally going to call today the movie theater and just be like, hey, how's this work?
Got
This
a question.
is a really weird question. I think everybody should go to the movies during the day by themselves.
I don't think everyone has that luxury, but
everybody could. No, not everybody has that luxury, but I'm just saying overall going alone. I think it's okay to go alone to a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many. Ryan loves these. He loves war movies, and war movies freak me out. I mean, I just can't fathom.
Hold on. I love, again, good movies.
You do not have to preface everything by saying good.
Well, no,
movies.
because there are bad war movies, right? But like, if you're going to see like Dunkirk or Saving Private Ryan or things like that, that's a damn good movie. All right, I'm in.
I think that I have been traumatized because I was the last of 4 kids. And so by the time it was me, I just kind of got drug around to where my parents are going. They weren't like, we're going to go to this kids movie. They were like, I remember distinctly being pretty young, and they took me to see Outbreak, which should explain why I'm such a freak about germs. But they took me to all these adult movies. I mean, Outbreak is so, oh my God, do you remember that movie?
I do. And it came out in, not the new one. There's a new one apparently.
No, I see, and I'll never see the new one because it freaks me out. And if you
came out in 95, so you were 12.
Okay, but 12 is too young to see a movie about where people are throwing up blood and they're dying a slow, horrible death. And it's taking over the entirety of the world. And if you've never seen the movie Outbreak, it's really, if you're into that, it is a good movie. This, because it has Morgan Freeman, and I love Dustin Hoffman. He's so good. So it has all these amazing people. But it really is an incredibly messed up movie to take a 12-year-old.
Oh, yeah, where they're going to drop a bomb on a town.
Yeah, and they're just going to eviscerate this entire town because of it. And you do know that the government would do that. I mean,
hey, this deadly disease is in this town. We got to take it out.
We're just going to bomb it. Anyway, so yeah, I went to a movie alone. I didn't tell anybody. I got home. I was like, hey, what's up? Yeah, I ran all my errands. So
got everything done.
You were just like, okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
And
what am I going to do? Question you on your day?
That's true. That would be annoying and weird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What errands did you run? Where did you go? How long did it take you? No, that wouldn't.
No, that would not be a thing. No. But yeah.
Okay. Fair
you know
enough.
what? I want you to talk a little bit because you know so much more than I do. And every Friday, presented by Christiana Salon Spa, we have the weekly roundup, and it's things that were trending throughout the week, and it's movies coming out for the weekend, and it's the top songs that charted.
Yeah, sure.
And I did a story last week about Bill Belichick and his girlfriend. And I felt like I was kind of blindly flying. Like the story is it has so many different layers to it. But I talked about the CBS Sunday Morning interview.
Yeah.
And I'll play a clip of it of what actually we're talking about. So listen to this.
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on.
So she seems like a crazy biatch.
So what do you want to ask me?
I want to ask you, like, what are the layers of the onion? Because I saw this week that she's in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial with him.
Sure.
Like, what is going on? I also, who is oh my God, you're going to laugh at me because you're going to be like, how do you not know this? He has a sports show. He was on that movie, Just Go With It, as the MC to the...
Oh, Dan Patrick.
No, is it Dan Patrick?
Yeah, Dan Patrick.
Okay. So Dan Patrick was doing an interview and he was talking about Bill Belichick and his 24-year-old girlfriend.
Now, Belichick is 73. And she is 24. And he looks like a 73-year-old. And she is a done-up, I'm going to wear the craziest dresses you've ever seen.
Boobies out.
Yeah, like all done up. Makeup.
Which I will say, props to her.
No,
she looks great.
She looks great. But this would be like your dad dating our daughter. It is a grandfather and granddaughter. That's how far away they are.
Tell me about his last wife. Was she normal?
He was married for a while. I'll look, but
look it up. Was she like of appropriate age, or was she?
Yeah. So he got a divorce.
Do they have kids?
Yeah, they have kids.
Oh my!
The kids are like coaches on the teams and stuff.
How awkward if your dad brings home somebody that.
So he was married from 77 to 06 to like his original wife that he has a bunch of kids with, right? Then he dated someone who was 10-ish years younger, I think, for a while.
Okay, that's not bad.
Right?
So someone in their 60s.
Yeah. And this is where it gets a little weird, is he was dating her up until like 2013, right? Or no, 23. Sorry. Belichick was on a plane about that. How did you meet? Like, this is what's happened, right? He was on a plane and she was reading a book when she was 19 years old and saw her reading the book and struck up a conversation. So that would have put him, that was 5 years ago. So that would have put him at 68. She was 19.
Oh,
struck up a conversation. And
what a perv. Don't you feel like that's pervy?
So this is why she's like, we're not talking about that. Right.
Yeah.
Because, there's a couple of years where they just maintain dialogue, communication, and somehow, right? So then he breaks up with his girlfriend and sometime in 23, I'll go look at the exact time. And then within a couple of months after breaking up with his girlfriend of the appropriate age, this girl comes who's a daughter of a fisherman in Maine. Right. So nothing crazy. She's not like a flush with class. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She comes into buying 3 properties in Boston for $8 million and it uses them as rental properties. Like 2 months after Belichick broke up with this other girl. So she
must be really good if within 2 months he's buying her millions of dollars of property.
Yeah. To run. So this is why when they asked him, how did you guys meet? And she piped up from the side and goes, we're not talking about that.
Not talking about this.
Well, so that was my thing about Dan Patrick is he was doing an interview and he was talking to Charles Barkley.
Okay.
And he was talking about the fact, which Charles Barkley, I'll actually play the clip. He is weirded out by the situation.
Sure.
And they're
Charles
like
Barkley
friends.
doesn't hold back.
No. And so I'll play that right now.
What is Bill Belichick doing?
Well, this is a very slippery subject for me because Bill's one of my really good friends. I'm not sure what's going on. He's been a great friend for me for a long time. We've been friends since he coached for the Browns. I think he got to be very careful right now. This is starting to be on a very slippery slope. He's the greatest football coach ever for him and Nick Saban, for college Nick Saban, for Bill to NFL. From what I'm hearing, it's starting to be a very slippery slope. And I never talk about people's personal relationship. That's another rule I got. But I will admit I'm a little concerned with some of the stuff that's going on. And I might actually reach out to him and make sure everything's good. But I am concerned from what I'm hearing. Yeah, it's not a good look right now. I'll admit that. Listen, man, I have very strict rules on things about, don't ask me no personal questions. Nobody in my family can speak. No, I'm the one who's famous. I'm the one who have to deal with all the crap. No, don't speak. Don't say anything, because if you say something, it's just gonna muddy the water. That's what I call it. If any family members speak out, it's just gonna muddy the water. Yeah, I'm a little concerned. I'll admit that, because he's my friend through good, bad, and whatever. And I just hope I hope everything's all right.
But another thing in this interview that I didn't play that was brought up was Dan Patrick was like, Bill Belichick is such an in control guy. He's very in control.
Yeah.
And it seems like with this girl, he's spiraled out of control.
It's so weird.
Hey, everybody, just popping in here right in the middle of the episode. Sorry to be annoying about it, but I want to tell you really quick about my friends at Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air. I don't know about you, but it has been, where I'm at, it has been so up and down. One day you're like burning in your shorts, and then the next day it's raining. It's so rainy, and we need the moisture. You keep hearing people say that, but really you're thinking, God, I'm cold. I'm chilled to the bone. I like to know that I have a furnace and AC unit to kind of flip back and forth anytime the weather changes, because Colorado be crazy. And so I love my friends at Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air, because they just recently came out. We had Caleb Hart come out. That's the guy who works for them, one of the many wonderful employees, and he was so stellar. I'm not just saying this because they are a sponsor of the podcast. I'm saying it because the customer service from start to finish was A+. So much so that I went on Yelp and I gave them an A+ review, which I hardly ever do. I need to do that more. I think I need to do that more. I really only want to do it when I'm really angry at a place, but not Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air. I was so impressed. I felt compelled to jump on there and do that. That's the kind of customer service they have. Because lo and behold, when I got there to leave the review, guess what? There were a bunch of other people who had already beat me to the punch. And that says a lot about the business you're working with. So with spring, get that system checkup to make sure that it is running in tip-top shape. These are your go-to people. They're available 24/7, 365. My friends at Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Just go to polarbearpha.com.
For a person to change their spots, right?
Right.
And for some reason, he changed his spots completely. She is the COO of Belichick Productions. She has to be CC'd on everything. Like it's a weird thing. So either he got mesmerized, right, or drugged.
He got booberized. Is that
sure.
a thing?
It is now. So yeah, and she, again, I hate judging from not knowing somebody, right? But she seems like someone I would not like to talk to.
Look up how old his children are, because because here's the deal. That would be really hard to swallow. Your dad I'm sorry, anybody, it doesn't matter.
So he has kids that are 41 and 38 and she's 24.
So someone that's literally half the age of one of his kids.
Yeah.
That is that's messed up. I don't know. And the fact that she's taken over and he's allowed her to take over.
Someone put a photo up of, they're like, here's Bill Belichick and Jordan when Belichick won the Super Bowl with the Patriots in 2001. And it's like him celebrating as an older man and a coach with like Tom Brady. And it's her in the nursery, a little tiny baby.
Oh, don't you think just that thought is super creepy?
Yeah. It's just weird.
It's just so odd. And I feel for his...
Hey, speaking of Belichick, you feel for what?
Well, I feel for his kids.
Yeah.
And I feel for the ex. Could you imagine being replaced by his wife? And I read she was like a beauty queen.
She
does like all
Maine
these...
or New Hampshire or something like that too.
Yeah.
Blurg. So feeling bad for the kids, and Belichick coached the Patriots. Tom Brady was on he was a quarterback of the Patriots, obviously. And he was on a podcast, and I don't know. He did that roast, this last year?
Oh, that was so great.
Right? Like, it was a very popular roast. Everyone was talking. It was very much in the zeitgeist. People were entertained by it.
Everybody was talking about it.
Yeah. So he just did a podcast with one of the Paul brothers, and they were talking about this. And he's like, I wish I wouldn't have done it. And he goes, not for me, but for my kids.
Yeah.
Like my kids really took that really hard.
You know, like I said, I loved when the jokes were about me. I thought they were so fun. I didn't like the way that it affected my kids. So it's the hardest part about like the bittersweet aspect of when you do something that you think is one way and then all of a sudden you realize I wouldn't do that again because of the way that it affected actually the people that I care about the most in the world. It makes you in some ways a better parent going through it because again, sometimes you're naive, you don't know, or you get a little like, oh shit. When I signed up for that, I love when people were making fun of me. And I always said like, when I was going through all the Deflategate stuff, because every time I turn on SportsCenter, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Right. So it's like, I just want to like laugh. And so I wanted to do the roast because the guy Jeff Ross became someone that I knew. And then you don't see the full picture all the time. So I think it's a good lesson. Like for me as a parent, I'm going to be a better parent.
Well, because they kept bringing up, oh my God.
The wife, Giselle.
They kept bringing up the karate instructor.
Yeah. That Giselle had a baby with.
Who just had a baby with. Yeah. I mean, I could see how that would be hard. But I had also heard before Tom Brady went into this roast, he said nothing about my kids. And I thought he had also said, go easy on the whole ex-wife thing.
I could see nothing about the kids being hard and fast rule. But do you know who was there? Like who was going to roast him? Of course.
So
roasts I'm so confused by roasts, right?
You just get insulted. Like, how do you not cry?
And then I don't know, there are clips of roasts where I'm confused by who picks the people that go there, right? Do you remember the Nikki Glaser and Ann Coulter one?
Oh.
Right? And then she's just like, why are you here? Like, and I don't know if everyone's in on it or not in on it.
No, I think they just pick a group of people.
Yeah.
To speak. I don't think that they're all, they're not in on it. They are going for blood for each other. And so Ann Coulter, that I will say, that was a ballsy move on her.
That was the most uncomfortable roast I've ever seen.
Ann Coulter, if you're here, who's scaring the crows away from our crops? Last year we had Martha Stewart, who sells sheets, and now we have Ann Coulter, who cuts eye holes in them.
Looks like she's having a good time. I haven't seen you laugh this hard since Trayvon Martin got shot.
And Coulter is here, which can mean only one thing. Someone must have said her name 3 times. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
First of all, as a feminist, I can't support everything that's being said up here tonight. But as somebody that hates Ann Coulter, I'm delighted.
Ann Coulter is one of the most repugnant, hateful, hatchet-faced bitches alive. But it's not too late to change, Ann. You could kill yourself.
Ann Coulter has written 11 books, 12 if you count Mein Kampf.
Ann Coulter looks so much like a truck stop transvestite whore that I saw Jeff Ross run to an ATM just before the show.
Ann hopes the Republicans can hold on to the House so she can continue to haunt it. She seems stiff and conservative, but Ann gets wild in the sheets. Just ask the Klan.
Ann's against gay marriage. What's your thinking on that? If I can't get a husband, they shouldn't either?
It's 56 days to Halloween, but I see that Ann Coulter's already in her skeleton costume.
Is Pete white? Is he black? Ann Coulter needs to know so she can decide if she hates him.
Why is Ann Coulter here tonight? Answer? Because the Right to Lifers wanted everyone to see what an abortion looks like up close.
I just realized that I am not the only athlete up here tonight. As you all know, earlier this year, Ann Coulter won the Kentucky Derby.
And you know, Ann, after seeing your set tonight, I think we've all witnessed the first bombing that you can't blame on a Muslim.
And Pete Davidson.
And it wasn't even her roast. Who was she there for? Like Rob Lowe? It was like Rob Lowe's roast.
Yeah.
Right?
But everybody got up and just
everyone's like, oh, Ann Coulter's here? Rob Lowe doesn't even exist now. Let's go.
Yeah.
And like went after her. And she's like awkwardly laughing the entire time. Why do people do roasts?
Why do people go to roasts? Like, and get on the stage. Like, I would like to be in the audience of a roast, even though during that Tom Brady roast was the whole Kim Kardashian thing where she stood up and everybody booed her so bad that they weren't going to show it on the Netflix special when they released it because it was so bad. You couldn't even really hear what the joke that she was delivering because people would not stop booing her. It's just like when you get into a room where there's a roast going on, there is nobody that's safe. They will crap on everybody. And these are professional comedians who will just take a dump. And that's why when somebody like Ann Coulter goes on there, I kind of feel in a way for her because I think this is not her realm.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking up the roast stuff and what they had to say, especially about
I'm going to play. I'm going to play
God.
Lots of clips. Don't worry.
Oh, dear God. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I would never want to be on stage at a roast. I would never want to get roasted. Like that Office episode where Michael Scott wants to get roasted.
And he started crying in the middle of it.
And walks away.
So good.
I have made a list of people that I would make out with before I would make out with Michael Scott. A turtle, a fridge, anybody from the warehouse, a wood chipper, Kevin, a candle, and Lord Voldemort. Anyway, happy birthday, Michael.
And that would be me. I would start, I would start crying.
Yeah. Would you ever, what percent of chance would you ever be like, I'd be 10% okay with it?
No. I would be 0. And I'm going to tell you why. Because everybody getting roasted on these they're incredibly rich. They've done really well in their careers. They're so well known.
Yeah.
And so, okay, you made some jokes about me, but I'm going to get in my Lamborghini and go home. I'm going to get in my car and go home to just a average home in Timnath, and I'm not incredibly wealthy. And so if I go you had to think that filming a roast has to take hours and hours. It probably took an entire day.
Tom Brady's was like 3 hours.
Yeah. So you got to think in order to record all of that and get all of that on tape, that probably took an entire day of recording, an entire day of people just taking a dump on you. And at the end of every roast, like after somebody is done roasting, they'll be like, Tom Brady, you're the GOAT. And they give like a little bit of encouragement at the end.
Yeah.
But I am way too sensitive for something like that.
And then, yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking back to the Brady roast. Like Affleck came out and was just like, didn't say any bad words about Tom Brady, just roasted everybody else. Because he's like, Tom Brady's the greatest human ever. And was just like, went to town.
I saw this last week. He said, Ben Affleck said that next to the birth of his children, the best thing that's ever happened to him was playing football and playing catch with Tom Brady.
Brady was like, run this route. Ben Affleck's like, okay, whatever you say, Tom Brady.
It's so weird. But Tom Brady, in his defense, he seems incredibly likable.
Yeah. It's hard to, I don't know, whatever. It's hard to say a bad word about Tom Brady, I think.
But Bill Belichick, that's
you can say a lot of bad words about Belichick.
Different story.
Mm-hmm.
We're out of time. Can you believe it? We covered a lot of ground today.
It just went. Sinners, Belichick, Brady.
Me going to the movies alone.
Yeah, dude. God bless you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Going to give another shout out to an amazing sponsor. They've been with me for so long. It's Christiana Salon Spa. Go to ChristianaSalonSpa.com and make that appointment. Whether you want to go in and get a fresh new look, you got to get a fade. I think that's what the kids call it. You want to make sure that your hair looks good. The last time I went into Christiana, it's been too long, but I got my hair colored and it was like this Coca-Cola color. Oh, I loved it so much, but it's starting to kind of wear off. So I'm going to be making another appointment. But if you want a massage, you want a facial, you want to get your nails done, maybe you're planning a girls' day. This is the perfect place for a girls' day. It is bougie inside and out, but it is reasonably priced. So why wouldn't you go check them out? They're in Johnstown, right by the Shields. Christiana Salon Spa, a proud sponsor of the Sadie and Friends podcast.